Commissioner Fidrich.
Here.
Commissioner Ishibashi. Commissioner Lee is absent. Commissioner Mitchell is absent. Commissioner Teeter.
Here.
Vice Chair Bites
Here.
and Chair Doherty.
Here.
Thank you.
Are there any presentations for this evening? Approval of minutes? Oh. I skipped that. Approval of minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes
I'll
from
second.
October 2nd, 2024.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any abstains?
Me? I was not here last time.
Any noes? All right, thank you.
Hot mic.
That's the one now. I see it. Are there, are there any oral requests? Any unfinished business? New business, Parks and Recreation Master Plan?
So for the Parks and Recreation Master Plan update, we have currently, we're in the needs assessment portion with the consultants, MIG, and we'll be doing our second community workshop on Wednesday, January 15th at 6:30 p.m. in the banquet hall. So we encourage all of you to participate, and please share with your neighbors and friends and networks to participate. The more people who are present, the better for those workshops. So they'll be working through some of the helping get prioritization from the community of what those needs are and how we prioritize those moving forward with the master plan. Other than that, I feel like we're fairly on track. Todd, anything to weigh in as far as?
No,
Okay.
I think they did a nice job on the needs assessment and the inventory, so I think we're in a good spot.
And that's all we have.
I'm sorry.
January 15th, at what time?
6:30 p.m.
Are there any questions? Okay, there's no questions. Skate park renovation?
So I think I shared with you at the last meeting that we received $100,000 of the ARPA funding to begin the design process of the skate park renovation. So we are currently under contract with American Ramp Company. We'll be doing our kickoff meeting with their design team either the week of December 16th or the week of January 6th. And we'll be kind of full steam ahead getting community outreach. They have two professional skaters that will come out and do like an event at our skate park as well. So that's one of the things we have planned to kind of draw some of the kids out and find out what they want in the skate park and how to use it. I did learn, they had someone from their team do a site visit with us. And I did learn recently that skateboarding is much lower and not those big ramps other than the half pipe. And that the larger ramps are bike ramps and not necessarily for the skateboarders. And so we're looking at how to design maybe something that has kind of two pathways of things that kind of this way is for your bikes and this way is for your skaters to see how that goes, because it's impossible to keep the bikes out. So we might as well just embrace that. So we're going down that path to see what that looks like. Any questions?
Well, I guess it's too much. It's the young man out 9 miles an hour. Steve, can he be involved?
Yeah, so when we do community workshops for this and like surveys and when the professionals come out, he'll be invited, obviously, whether or not he shows up, that's on, you know, he's a high schooler, so.
He was pretty vested.
Yeah, yeah.
Is the $100,000 just for design, or is that for design and potentially some renovation?
It could be both. And then for fiscal 26, we have $250,000 in CIP that'll get kind of rolled into that project.
And is the company that's doing design, do they do design and build, or, yeah, great.
Okay, our next item would be our January meeting.
Well, Todd, do you want to take, no, you,
Sure, I mean, I'll give you a break. As is the case in most years, first Wednesday of the month in January typically falls right, if not right on New Year's, falls right around that holiday closure period. And as we have done in the past, we have recommended to the commission that that January meeting be moved to the second Wednesday of the month. But of course, it takes a motion to make that happen. So our recommendation at this point would be to move the meeting to January 8th, 2025. Although that may only affect 3 of you. Nevertheless, it will take a motion by the commission, and if it passes, we will inform the 3 new commissioners that that will be the time of the next meeting.
I move that we change the date of the January meeting to January 8th.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstains? Thank you.
So you'll let the folks know that they will have to be here early.
Well, if we don't, we really don't think they'll be here on the 1st.
Okay. Committee reports. Parks and Creek Trail, Chair Teeter.
Lots of people out there, lots of joggers, bicyclists, on the trail.
Okay, trees, Chair Ishibashi.
Nothing to report.
Special events, Chair Fitridge.
I have nothing to report, but I just do want to mention 8 years of trees and you've done nothing. No special events that I'm aware of.
Okay, that brings us to staff reports. Parks. That would be you, Todd.
It would be, except it's not.
Well, good evening, everybody. Nice to see everyone. Recently, I had the pleasure of being contacted by the Recreation Department and to have a meeting about how we can better maintain the turf at the community center sports fields. And the recreation's component to that improvement is to waylay the start of the spring sports groups. So it'll give the turf more time to rest. To take advantage of this longer resting period, we have brought out the deep tine aerator, which pokes the deep holes in the ground, our shatter aerator, which splits the ground, and our core aerator. All those are labor intensive in that 7-acre facility. It's 4 acres on the main field and 2.5 on the stadium. In addition, to improve the turf out there, we have applied 1,000 pounds of seed. It's a special seed that we've gotten from a developer specifically designed for sports turf. It's fast germinating, takes a lot of traffic, all those kind of good things that we want. We've put down 2,000 pounds of gypsum, which help break down the compacted soil, allow the water and air to go into the soil. And we've also purchased 100 yards of organic compost. If you were to go out by the playground at the community center right now, you'd see this mountain of compost, which we're actively working on spreading. We have what's called a turf tiger. You apply the product into the turf tiger, You tow it and it spreads the material out in a thin layer, helps to build the soil health, the nutrients, the bacteria, the fungus, the mycorrhizae, all that type of stuff. All this in an effort to make our sports turfs better and better every year. In spring, before the recreation groups start, we will review our progress and see if there's anything else that we might need to do. Recently, I'm very happy to say that we have done some tree preservation work here at the community center. The large ash tree over there at the admin building was recently pruned. It was quite a big job, as was a somewhat historic sycamore tree at the tennis courts. And finally, we did some crown restoration and breakout prevention of a large magnolia on Campbell Avenue. So we're real excited about that type of work happening. So it's things that if you ignore them, we could have a major breakout and lose a tree. Next item is the contractor has started at John Morgan Park on the Bud Avenue side, replacing the spinner, the playground spinner that's been out of commission for a little while. We have the spinner, they have the spinner, they have all the equipment. They actually have jackhammered out the old foundation and installing a new one. We're expecting that to be opened sometime in mid-September because we have to let the concrete cure and it's dependent on weather. And finally, we had a successful refresh of Stojanovich's frontage, Stoyanovich Park frontage. We replaced some posts, some rails, some high water use plants with low water use plants. We adjusted the irrigation from standard spray heads to low volume spray heads. And we put in a weed barrier material to prevent weeds from coming up, which reduces our pesticide use, and then applied a heavy layer of mulch down to beautify the rest of the park, the rest of the area. And other than that, those I'd say were a couple of highlights for what we've been doing recently. And that's the parks report for today.
Thank you.
And then I can add on just a couple
I
other
have a
things.
question.
Oh, I'll let you.
I noticed, remember all the discussion we had about the Canadian geese at the track? I noticed that the Canadian geese are there again, hanging out on the grass on the track. So the question is, how long are we going to allow that?
You want to talk about Krebs?
Talking about Canadian geese on the turf. Yeah, I've noticed there's a lot of them out right now. It's hard to say exactly what is effective. Recently, as in today, we just bought 3 new lasers, which we can use to dissuade the geese from coming around. And earlier it was mentioned at a previous meeting that the dogs being allowed in the park or the community center has helped reduce the amount of geese. That seems to actually be the most effective. We can get into a whole other discussion about it at some other time, but we are actively concerned about it and aware of it.
Couple, 3 years ago or something, we had some, and you brought in some equipment that, yeah, that seemed to really handle that really well. I don't know if you still have that equipment.
Correct. We do have the Goosenator. It's in a safe spot. And I do appreciate you bringing that back up. Maybe that is something to bring out again before they get too comfortable out there. I will make a note of that. Thank you.
Quick comment. So I joined the commission 8 years ago. One of my first comments was the state of the field, and it was not in the best shape. I just want to say thank you for your efforts to keep on trying to different things to make it better. I know it's used quite often. It sounds like there's no perfect solution for it, but I do appreciate your efforts to keep on trying to improve it. My son plays a lot of sports on the San Jose parks. And I would just say those fields are incredibly bad. I don't even know if they even make an effort on some of those fields. So again, thanks you very much for your efforts to try to make it better for the kids.
Wonderful. I'll pass that on to the crew. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sarah.
Do you have anything else?
Yes, I was just going to touch on, in the minutes for the last meeting, we gave, a little more detailed report on a couple of capital projects. And not that they needed to be individual items called out on the agenda today, but just some quick updates. The John D. Morgan parking lot project we had talked about previously, which was scheduled to be bid and awarded back in October or so, had a little bit of a delay, because when we got the council authorization to go out to bid, the bids actually came back and the low bid exceeded the council authorization. So we needed to do a budget adjustment and increase the council authorization, which we actually did relatively quickly. It was not a lot of money. It was about 6 or 7% of the project. So we're able to make that adjustment. That project has been awarded. So if you haven't seen any progress out there, you will shortly, if you haven't been out there. And then the second project that we talked about previously was to move forward with some improvements at the dog park, which is at the Los Gatos Creek County Park. And that project is on hold pending a policy decision by the County Board of Supervisors on whether they will continue to allow synthetic turf to be installed on any of their facilities. So if they will, that's what's out there now. I think some of you know that. So if they continue to allow that, we will do kind of a like for like replacement. But if they disallow it, we will have to look at some alternatives, and it may be a little more challenging, but once we have the information in hand, we will come back.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you.
And that's all I have on that.
Thank you.
Are they not allowing it because of health concerns, or I'm just kind of curious?
That's part of it. Environmental concerns, health concerns. The majority of their research and presentation to the county board by staff really seems to be oriented to material that's typically used on sports fields. And it talks about how that material is constructed and the type of fill material that's used and how that can be ingested by athletes and whatnot. Some of the materials used in dog-specific facilities are really not the same, right? So this field has evolved over the years, where there's athletic synthetic turf, there's dog park synthetic turf, and you can go on and on and on. And we've tried to make that case, and I don't know how successful we'll be. I know the county is going to make an exception for their animal care facility, which is essentially, that's where a lot of the stray dogs, and it's an animal shelter essentially. The allowance they're going to make for that is it's a relatively small site. I think it's like 2,000 square feet of turf, and they've already written into the policy that they would allow that. The dog park at the county park is about 15,000 square feet. So I don't know that they're going to be willing to either make an allowance because of the size or because of the use. We've tried to give them additional information, but I think at this point, it's really going to come down to a board discussion in January, and then we will continue to work with county park staff. Once the decision is made with regard to that.
Thank you. Natasha?
All right, so our winter spring registration opened yesterday, and non-residents and everyone else was today. It's going really well, and programs are tracking kind of above where we were at this time last year for registration. So everything's looking on the up and up. The Ainsley House, the Teas and Tours will start tomorrow, and all of those events are sold out. So it's going to be very busy over the next couple of Thursday to Saturdays or Sundays, however they're doing it. Sundays, yeah. Every single one sold out. They do have open house events on December 19th and December 22nd from 5:30 to 8 p.m. and tickets are sold in the Carriage House. If you have not been to the Ainsley House in the evening during the holidays, I highly recommend it. It's pretty impressive in there with all the lights and everything, and they have music. Generally, there's a live music that's happening, and it's just a very easy, no docent led. You just kind of walk yourself through to see all the rooms that are decorated. In our winter spring, we are dipping our toes in adaptive recreation classes. So we are partnering with Academy of Classical Ballet and offering some adaptive dance classes for children 8 to 13. And then we're also trying an adaptive art class with a different instructor. So those will be coming online and hoping to kind of expand in that area a little bit. And lastly, for our team, we will be down at the Care of Lights this Saturday from 4 to 7. So if you'd like to volunteer, we can love to have you. We'll be doing arts and crafts and games with kids at 395 East Campbell Avenue, which is kind of over by Katie Bloom's, between Katie Bloom's and Blue Line over there. But the museum staff, the theater staff, and recreation will all be kind of in that little spot there doing stuff for kids. So if you'd like to volunteer, we'd love to have you, or if you'd just like to stop by and say hi, and say hi. And that's all I have. Any questions?
Thank you. Do it again. Soon to be departed.
Sure, I'll go. Well, I'm extremely happy to see the skate park master plan going on, or plan going on, and having money in the upcoming budget to update that. I'll be quite excited to see when that actually takes place. The other thing that I thought of when Sharon was talking about the basketball courts, I don't know a lot about basketball hoops, but those ones out there like pretty industrial and like not friendly as far as basketball, the sport goes. Like, I'm curious if there's ever been any thought of like putting like, you know, nicer like glass ones with like a little bit of bounce in the rim, you know, versus like the hard industrial super tough ones that last forever out there.
I think you hit the nail on the head with the
Yeah.
last forever.
That
Right? I mean, I get it.
generally
They're
the strategy.
they're popular and they're industrial, but like, you know, a nice glass board with like, you know, a nice rim, you know, because of how popular they are and how much they're used. Like, it wouldn't be that expensive, I imagine, to switch out the 4 rims that are out there, 4 backboards, but might be something that, you know, the city could look into as far as making those a little nicer.
Typically something you would do on an indoor court, so we could look at the gymnasium as well, right? So
I think our gymnasiums have those, the nicer ones.
I think so.
I think they do, but I don't know if there's an outdoor version of those. I imagine there might
Yeah,
be,
we'd
but
be a little concerned about how well it would send it to the elements, but
Okay.
we can certainly take a look at it.
just something I thought of. But other than that, it's been an enjoyable 8 years. Went by fast. I say this a lot, but Campbell Parks are fantastic.
Yes.
Compared to everyone around us, you guys do an amazing job. So thank you for that.
I'll go next. So first of all, I'll say, you got your skateboard park, don't push it. Okay. But I will say with the basketball court, when I was there for the Oktoberfest fun run, and I did notice the court had a lot of cracks that were starting to develop in it. So I'm sure you guys are aware of that, but there's a safety hazard, probably something to look at. And then just I would say, my final night as well, 8 years here. I know I ask a lot of questions. Thank you for your patience. It's been awesome. And thank you so much for all your hard work to help make Campbell a great place to live and play. And lastly, you know, Bob, if you need someone to drive that Goosenator, I'm free on Wednesday nights, starting in January. Let me know. Okay?
Sharon,
No, I was gonna say,
do you have anything, Bob? Okay, well, thank you very much for your,
yes, we're gonna miss you guys.
yes,
Thank
for your
you.
years of service. And perhaps you'd love to come and be a spectator at one of the meetings.
And
Maybe the first
acting,
one.
and acting spectator.
Yes. So with that all said, I adjourn this meeting at 7:20.
Wow. like your nameplate?